When I was in school, we had, of course, an art class, and what we did in that was to copy a sketch of a landscape from the blackboard and then look at the finished painting of the artist teacher and strive very hard to copy it to the best perfection we could muster. What I want to really share with you is the idea that art doesn't have to be drawing and painting as a separate subject, especially one that is taught like all the other subjects are by the teacher top down, and the students are striving to keep up with the materials given to them. I want to ask if it's possible to think of art as partially an approach. It is, of course, a separate subject and it can be taught extremely professionally, but in school it can preferably be taught as an approach that is used for teaching every other subject, and which is a teaching technique as well, so that students learn a lot in the process of using drawing and painting and sketching and coloring. How do I know this? And it's always a good question to ask. How do I know anything that I'm trying to claim? Partially because there is so much research on it. You're all welcome to search for yourselves, and everyone will find that there is a consensus of opinion that using the arts is an extremely good way to educate children. But we have our own personal experience in a school called Vidyashram The Southpoint. I'm sitting right now in the city campus of that school, and it is a school with 29 years of experience in using the arts to teach all subjects. I'm going to talk only about drawing and painting right now. We do this in a number of ways, all of which are tested and tried, as well as supplemented by research. In the preschool, we use lots of materials just to make the children color between lines, and at the same time to draw independently from their own minds whatever it is that the topic may be, which could be an umbrella, it could be rain, it could be my mother, it could be a rickshaw. Whatever it is what the children are encouraged to express through their own drawing. There's no right or wrong, there's no monitoring, there's no rules, there are no even color instructions like the sky has to be blue or the tree has to be green. As a result of which, the main thing the children learn is, of course, a very good motor control over their little developing muscles, which is going to stand them in very good stead when they learn to actually write, and they have to write more and more and more. But they learn that they can actually be whoever they are, and they develop a tremendous confidence and very rooted identities. This is actually the fundamental thing that any education should give a child. As they move on into the primary classes, we provide other kinds of resources by which they actually learn to both observe how books and stories are illustrated, and then think for themselves how they could illustrate almost any topic that they are studying, and at the same time think about themselves as characters in certain societies, as people playing roles, and be able to express themselves in their relationships and their emotions, of course. And as you move on to the secondary classes, we do a little more heavy duty work. We ask them to do research, to observe, to analyze, to practice a lot of discipline on the model of the great artists of the world. So they study about all the artwork in the world and the artists of the world as well as India, and they learn how to do similar things themselves, maybe in that genre, maybe through the example of that artist's life. These are some of the most forceful models we have in the world and in our history, and to certainly not use art and the people who created that art is a big loss. So it goes into a whole pool of research and observation and analysis, discussion, presenting and expressing themselves, which is totally part of the whole bigger pool of the learning, which is considered more strictly, or in a mainstream way, more academic. So let me end by just summarizing the 2 or 3 values of using this particular art, drawing and painting in school. The first, of course, is that the children learn much better. Just as students, they learn all academic subjects better. Their minds are wide open to learning. they are motivated, they are confident, they are happy, they love to come to school, they love to study, they love to do work. Secondly, some among them might find it extremely profitable in the sense that the new world and the new era and the new India is now looking for a lot of professionals who can think outside the box, who are more creative, who can draw connections between seemingly separate points. And of course, there are wonderful opportunities career-wise in the arts themselves. And finally, last of all, I want to say art is beautiful, art is fun. We have tremendous wealth of art in India. And yet our schools, unfortunately, are all lacking in those arts.